Okay, we just got to the library. Everyone's had a snack, so everyone's nice and content. We're gonna go inside, grab our books. Most of them have already been claimed by the library in regards to like the holds. They have them ready for pickup. I guess that's how I should have said it. They're ready for pickup. But I want to see if there's anything else that we have left, if I can find it for them, as well as let the kids kind of look around, grab their books that they want to grab, seeds, rainbows, and I can't remember week 3. I need to look that up, but I think I just got books for weeks 1 and 2 for now since we're so far out. So I might just stick to those 2. So let's do this. Sit down and get those cookies. I can't give you a lolly until you're sitting. Sit down. Thank you. It is officially springtime in our house. I am in full prep mode. I'm excited. I'm eager. I just want it to be that season. Now that we've had like a full week of like good weather in the 70s and it's been sunny and beautiful outside, I've been outside every single morning during my quiet time and just listening to the birds chirp and everything. It has put me in such a good mood. With that said, we also start our Treehouse Nature Studies spring season next week. And in preparation for all of that, I wanted to kind of create this whole rundown to share not just what I'm doing to prep, because I mean, that seems pretty quick and easy, but also the kind of structure that I use with having 4 kids, how we are kind of meshing both the primary and the intermediate versions together to create kind of a lesson plan of my own for the kids, the resources that we use, the books that we use, all the things that I normally get questioned about in the little like videos that I make of our seasonal weekly lessons. I want to address all of that stuff so that you know what I'm using, how I'm using it, what my kind of thought process is when it comes to putting all this together for the kids and how to make it fun and enjoyable, as well as extra things like extra activities and crafts that I want to do with the kids over this season that might not align with like the themes of the week, but they're still spring themed. And so that more so goes along with like things that I would just incorporate for the kids to do on any given day. Now I will say I've already print and bound my intermediate years. This is not how it is formatted, or not formatted, it's not how it's laid out when you get the PDF version. I wanted something that was going to be a lot more like the teacher guide for the primary years, where it's literally just the lesson plans and the layout of everything for the week. So that's all I did. I went through and I got all 13 weeks and then just printed them out and took all of the like extra pages for the artwork and the poems out of that, and then just printed this and then bound it. These are broken up by 4 seasons. There's 13 weeks to each season. I have all 4 of now, well, soon to be all 4 of both the primary and the intermediate versions. So like I said, I bound this way. It just comes in one full PDF for the intermediate years. You just have all the lesson plans and outlines and all that stuff, as well as the printables that you would kind of be like morning menu inserts for the primary years, similar to that, but there's not as many because the kids are bigger. They don't need song lyrics and hand rhymes and all that extra stuff. So I have this for the intermediate years. I have autumn, winter, and spring, and then when we get closer to the summer season starting for them, then they'll release this one. But I bought all 4 all together, so I'm getting that as it comes closer to the season. This is the primary years. Don't mind the scribbles from my adorable 2-year-old. He got a hold of this when he was 1, and it's with Expo markers, so I can't get rid of it. And honestly, I'm kind of torn because it's artwork, but it's his, and I don't know. I've thought about keeping it and then maybe just reprinting another copy, but at the same time, it's like I get to talk about this every single time that I pull this out and think about him. So I think I'm gonna keep it. It's not aesthetic, but you know, it is what it is. So same thing, like I said before, this is going to have just kind of your weekly menu, or not menu, sorry, lesson plan. And then with that, if you have any type of like activities that you're doing that you need instructions for, you'll have them in here as well. So the other thing that I went through and did, like I said with the intermediate years, is the loose sheets. I went through and printed these out, and then I just have them not bound, loose. I keep all of our morning menu inserts for the primary years in a little plastic container like this, and then it just has the clips and opens. There's nothing fancy about it. The morning menu, if you've never used anything like this before, it legitimately is a menu cover. You can find them on Amazon. I have them in my storefront. And then I just take the inserts from the primary years and then you can fill them in. I've already pulled the 3 pages that I need for week 1 for the intermediate, and I'm just tucking them in so that it's all in one space. With the primary years, you have a lot more that you'll be using. So you have your song, your poem, your hand rhyme, your artwork, and then any other sheets that are gonna come with that week's theme. Some of them you have like 3 to 5 pages that come with them. Sometimes it's just 1. So sometimes your morning menu won't actually be completely filled, but it's not a big deal. You're just using what you have. Every day you'll go through your lesson, and like I said, it has a lesson plan formatted for you, but for me, because I've got 4 kids and I have 2 that are now 9 and almost 7, and then my younger 2 are almost 5 and almost 3. They're at very different stages. They're doing very different things, very different interests. And my oldest is not really all for the hand rhymes and the songs anymore, which is totally fine. Now we're at a point where I have the multimedia options and more writing, language arts type things for him to be working on, as well as more intricate activities and experiments and all that stuff with his lesson plans. So what I have done that I'll show you in a sec is I've taken what they give you Monday through Friday, and I'll kind of mesh both of what they have for Monday here from the primary with what they have for the intermediate. I don't do everything though, not to the detail of what they talk about. We will do the folk song, we'll do the hand rhyme, we do the poem and the picture study and all that stuff, but we dial it back a little bit. I used to do things twice a week with the kids, and we would just spend like 2 hours a day to kind of dive into all of this to really get the most out of it. I want to go back and try, at least for this season, to do about 15 to 30 minutes a day, so it's a lot less work, but it's consistent throughout the day. We're gonna see how things go. I've never done it before all 5 days of the week, but like I said, we're trying it out. So I'll keep you posted if it ends up not working or if it works perfectly for us. So I use this lesson planner from School Nest. I absolutely love this planner. So for week 1, we have sprouts and seeds, or seeds and sprouts for that theme. This will kind of dive into some of the resources and other things that I'll cover in a minute, but just to go through this real quick. You're just kind of taking both to use them as something where you can keep the kids occupied. If the primary kids or the younger kids have something that they're working on, the bigger kids can work on something else. So I'm trying to find that balance of having things that all of us can do together, as well as, okay, when you're doing sensory bins or you're doing the hand rhyme or the song, you can be working on your vocab or whatever. And then at some point in the week, depending on what the schedule looks like, the Little Hearts and Hands always has, not always, but the majority of the time has a lesson that will line up with one of the themes of the week. So if I can find something that lines up with it, I'll probably do those lessons on the days that I have the kids doing their nature notebooking, because that requires a lot of time for them to have their own quiet space. So I can take the littles somewhere else and do those lessons, because the Little Hearts and Hands lessons are probably only anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on if you have those storybooks to read with them. So it's a nice way, again, to have something to do for the littles if the bigs are busy, and vice versa. The next thing that I wanted to talk about were our books. The books that we have, the books that come from the book list and where we get them from, and some of the other books that I've kept using over the years of doing the nature studies that a lot of people have asked questions about and want to know more about. So let me grab those and we'll chit chat about those. This is my science shelf. This is kind of like our rotation of books for a week to 2, maybe 3 weeks out at a time. So I have weeks 1 and 2 in here. We've got Rainbow and Seeds and Sprouts. All the books that I have that we have on hand, as well as books that I borrowed from the library, are all stacked up here. And then this is more of the books that I keep on hand for year round with our science and nature studies and all of that stuff because I have all 4 seasons here. So I want to go through these and kind of share. I don't think I need to break down like what's on the book list, just more so want to touch on the fact that I have over the years stocked up on a few books that I liked that I wanted to keep. So I decided to purchase. It's definitely a lot harder, I will admit, now that we have charter funds. I don't want the money to go to waste at the end of the year. Most of the time when I'm coming down to the wire and I don't know what else to spend our funds on, I buy the books. I have a full Billy bookshelf in the other room overflowing with books that I have for seasonal stuff and like nature seasons as well as like holiday seasons and all that. And I absolutely love it. I will say I do think the one thing that I have as an argument for it is that I do believe that the amount of books that I have is what's helped my kids really enjoy reading, and so I don't regret any of it. But with that said, I still do try to borrow a lot of books from the library. I've gotten to the point where most of the books, if I don't have them on hand and I can't find them at the library, we just don't use. I don't feel this pressure like I need to have every single book on the book list, especially now that we are referring from 2 different book lists, from primary and intermediate now. I don't need all of that. So I haven't been spending. The only thing that I have got book-wise are things from the reference books because I can't borrow it from the library all year round, and so I wanted to just have this on hand. So to kind of dive into that, one of the books that is a reference book for the intermediate years is the Children's Encyclopedia from the Smithsonian. It covers everything. It has details of everything. This is one that is recommended on the book list from the intermediate years. But some books that I wanted to specifically share in regards to the books required, the books that are used, as well as the books that I use that aren't listed are these ones. So first, a pretty popular, well-known one is this Slow Down book. If you've seen any of my videos that I've shared, you've definitely seen the kind of tablescapes that I create for the kids. I love the artwork in here. I love the details in here. It's a fan favorite of ours. Another one that I am so sorry, I will explain in a second. People see this book, they've seen it on the shelves that I have, they've seen it on the table, they've seen it laid out for different videos and stuff, and they have no idea what this is, and they've tried looking this up with the frog on the cover and everything. I am so sorry with how confusing this is, because when I bought it off of Amazon, I bought it used, and it had specifically said it does not come with the cover page for it. So this isn't what the front actually looks like. I have no idea what the cover page looks like. I've just grown to adapt to the fact that this is the cover, which it's not bad, but this is outside your window. That is that book. That's why it's so difficult for people to figure out what it is, because it doesn't have the cover page to it. So, but again, it's one of those books that I absolutely love for the poetry aspect of it. The artwork in there is beautiful. It's a big book, so it's been super engaging for my littles to just flip through and look at and everything. So that is another one that I keep up here to reference for any season. It has all 4 seasons in it, and so most of the time I can find something that fits with the season and the theme for what we're working on in those books as well. The last one that I absolutely love, I found it on Amazon a couple years ago. I've shared it with everyone, and now I feel like it's spreading like wildfire and getting into all of the hands of the homeschooling mamas. These little homesteaders seasonal treasury books. This is the spring one. I have, this is fall, I have summer, and I have winter. So I have all 4 of them. I absolutely love them. They're super cute. Again, the artwork inside of them, it's just packed full, it's colorful. I love all of it. You've got things like recipes, little wisdom sheets, whether it's like we've got spring animals in here, bathing ducklings, spring crops, how to make smoothies, and then different types of like how to press flowers, all of that. I absolutely love these books. So if you are sitting down to make your bucket list with the primary version, on the equinox or the solstices, you're always going to have a bucket list. I love bringing this out for the kids on those weeks to just be able to dive into this and get ideas of what they want to do for the season. That covers all of the books that I have. Everything else, like the Julia Rothman books, are ones that are from the references for primary years. I just try to see what we can find. And I will say there's been times that I've gone through and went to the library to look for the books that we needed to borrow and found other books in that section as well that worked out. I don't think this Eyewitness one was on the reference page for the intermediate years, but there's been different ones that I found that I was like, oh, didn't see that on there, but let's grab it. Then there's been other cute ones that you'll just have fun with. Like this one I bought simply because I borrowed it one year and the kids loved it so much that, I mean, you can see they use it all the time. It's ripping. But How the Crayon Saved the Rainbow. Obviously for Rainbow Week, but the kids loved it so much that I was like, okay, I have to go and buy this. So there is logic to my madness, but it just, sometimes it doesn't make sense to other people. But that is all when it comes to books. Now I want to show you more of the resources and everything that I use that I feel like just complement the lessons really well. Now, some of them I have as like physical resources that I can show you, and then others are going to be more references of things that you can do with your kids, tutorials, that type of stuff. So to cover those first, Art for Kids on YouTube is incredible. My kids absolutely love it. They are always looking forward to the day of the week that they get to do that and draw whatever I can come up with, whatever I can find that kind of matches the theme for the week. Another thing that we do is the Brighter Days Press, I think that's what it's called. They have watercolor tutorials. So they have the sheet that you can print out. You can print it on watercolor, or I have the like backlight thing where I can trace the outline of whatever they're painting onto a watercolor paper. And so I have that. And so they just follow along with a little YouTube video that you get access to when you buy the course, the lesson, whatever you want to call it. And then another one that I just got was the Emily Lex Studio. I'm not entirely sure that those come with videos, so that's the only thing. I bought them hoping that there would be a video included, and I need to check the email because I have the physical copies, but I don't think that it comes with a tutorial. It just has the instructions of what you're doing in like printed text next to it, so we'll have to see. If it ends up not working out, it doesn't work out, but the Brighter Day Press is definitely one that we have used over the years and absolutely love. And so those are types of things that you can incorporate for artwork, and just an extra like hands-on thing, activity for the kids to do. My kids absolutely love all of them. So those are the two things that I don't have like physically on hand for you to look at, but everything else is going to be physical things I can show you. Okay, so Crocodile Creek is becoming one of my favorite, if not my favorite, puzzle options. I love the artwork on these. They are so stinking cute. We got one for Zeke for Christmas 2 Christmases ago, and I thought it was absolutely adorable. I can't even remember which one it was, but it's like shaped like this, like the weird shape to it and everything, and he was so excited. I found it at Barnes & Noble, and then we were playing with our neighbor's granddaughter across the street the other day, and the neighbor is a master gardener, like certified master gardener, and so it was hilarious to me that she had this puzzle for her granddaughter. It was super fitting. I absolutely loved it. When I saw that it was Crocodile Creek, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to go get this. So charter funds, I love it. I'm super excited. It fits the theme for spring altogether, so I'll probably rotate this in and out over the weeks as something for the kids to do. Another thing that you can just find as things around the house that you may have already had that fit are just like gardening type of stuff. So I had this Love Every little puzzle thing, and I'm trying to get the most use as I possibly can out of these things before my youngest grows out of them. But little things like this I'm going to keep on the sensory table that we have where our sensory bins are, is just another added thing for them to play with during that theme for the week. So that is going to fit with our like seeds and sprouts. I know it doesn't really fit with that, but it's more of like the gardening vibes that we're going for. Then for Rainbow Week, I have these little, what do we want to call these? I'm blanking on the term for them, but like loose play toy things. And so then you would match, you've got your mushrooms, your acorns, your little bowls, your little Easter eggs. I will admit, the kids didn't pick this up one time, and a few of them rolled away underneath a cabinet or something, and when Honey was a puppy, she chewed a few of them up. So I'm missing a couple, not a ton, but it makes me sad every time that the kids do this. It's like bothering them that they don't have every piece for everything because we lost a few. But she's adorable, so we love her. The other things that I have collected over the years, which I'm very grateful for because I got to work with a lot of these companies, so they sent these to me. They've been amazing, and I absolutely love them. These rainbow ones as well are Chickadee's wooden toys. You have the little bumblebees, which are absolutely adorable. And then I have 5 of the little ladybugs. They're super cute. So you have 5 of these, 5 of the bumblebees. We have different themes for the week, so I'll bring those out. I have the little like hives as well. So it's just little things like that are little playthings for the kids. She had these. The thing that I will say is that she doesn't always restock these. So they're different like limited edition things, but these are the little like, I don't know what they call them, peekaboo cups, or like just sit-in type things, but you have the little bumblebee on them. These ones have the ladybugs on them, so you're matching them. And then there's a third one that just has the daisy on them. And then they're just spring natured. Another thing that I love is whimsical dough. I didn't bring any of the actual Play-Doh out, but I use that. I have that stored. And so I use her Play-Doh for everything. And then you have these little like eco cutters. So I have the moths and butterfly set that I'll set out for the kids when we go through our like caterpillar butterfly week. So just going through and using things that you might already have on hand, or if you like the sensory type stuff. Chickadee's Wooden Toys is one of my favorite shops that has the most adorable things. She hand paints everything too. They're just super cute. And then I had these a few years ago when Juju was an like baby. So they were nice and big, no choking hazards, but little matching cups for the bowls and the eggs as well. Then not the last, but second to last thing that I would recommend are little simple things like this. Bubbling Botanicals. They are just a little bit of a powder inside of them. And then you would put it in a little wooden bowl. You can set up your own little like sensory thing with it and some wooden spoons and whatnot. And then you just pour water over it and it makes it bubble. So it could go really fast if you don't supervise the kids, but if you don't care, you could use a whole bag in one day. And then they just play with it like soup or potion or whatever you want to do with it afterwards. So again, none of these are really like necessary. They're just extra things that I like to have on hand. So if you see them, I'm just sharing with you the prep mode that I'm in and what I'm pulling out for the kids. I went through, and I will say I used to have them laminated, but Staples has been a thorn in my side for years now trying to do this, that I stopped going and stopped printing these and everything. But I used to use these little coloring pages for Mornings Together, and now granted I got this in like the biggest format that they could do it now, because they used to laminate in store, and then when I went online not today, whenever I ordered this, it said that you had to pay to have it shipped to you to have it laminated. They don't do it in the store. And then when I went into the store and asked about it, they said, no, we have it, it's an option. So I don't know what the deal is, but honestly, every single time that I would go in to have it laminated, it was like McDonald's, where they would tell me that the ice cream machine is broken. No one would ever do it for me. It was always a hassle. It always came out super messy and nasty looking. There'd be bubbles in it and everything, so I just got frustrated. But my intention behind it, that a lot of other people I had seen doing with it as well, was to use it almost as a play mat. So you would get a size that fits. I have 2 for autumn and winter that I would put on our sensory table and lay that out, so when the kids would do Play-Doh or whatever, nothing would fall in between the cracks, and they would use that there, and it would just make for an easy cleanup, as well as just a nice, pretty, aesthetic themed type of play mat for the kids. So didn't do that this time. I just printed out the spring one, and I just got it in a big format. It'll cover probably the majority of this table. This isn't another amazing thing that you can use. You could still print it out to printer sheets, so it's still a coloring page that you could just give to each kid individually, but either way, Mornings Together, their big poster coloring pages are always a win with the kids, because they love art. They love drawing, they love coloring, they love painting, and really you can open this up to whatever the kids want to do or feel like doing in that day. If you do want to go through the hassle of laminating and you can find a place that's going to laminate it properly and clean, it still does make amazing play mats and all that stuff for the kids. The only thing is that like you can't color it afterwards. So if you want to cherish their artwork forever, you could have it laminated after they draw on it. Just not something I've done. That is everything I can think of when it comes to resources and like things that we use. The next thing I wanted to talk about were more of like the crafts and activities and stuff that we do, and then field trips. So when it comes to activities and field trips, I'm gonna cover them kind of at the same time. You got 13 weeks of themes. I don't have crafts that I found that work for every single week. So when you look at my Pinterest board that I'll share right here, some of the crafts are going to be ones that are just more spring related. Like the little pinwheels are a little bit more of just a spring craft. It fits with the season and all of that, but it's not really something that would fit with a theme. Maybe clouds and rain, but again, it's kind of pushing it. So on weeks like that, if it's not a perfect match, I still might incorporate things like that. Doing the little jar with the napkins and the florals and everything, again, it's not really working with like edible gardening, or maybe flowers I could do, but I'm just kind of stretching it a little bit. My kids love crafts. They love being able to just sit down and cut and paste and color and all of that. So I'm not gonna be too rigid or hard when it comes to like, oh no, this doesn't match the theme, so we're not doing it. My kids just love doing this stuff. It's that season. I love being able to like kick them outside and let them do their crafts and activities and play and stuff like that. And so anything I can find, we're gonna pack the week with things like that. So as you can see on here, there's a lot that will match with the themes of the week. Some of them won't. Some of them I'm not gonna attempt to do, but I just thought they were cute. Some of them I might save for next year because, I don't know, I didn't plan ahead to get the resources that I need. Whatever the deal is going to be, I am trying to incorporate as many of these as I possibly can. With that said, I'm also trying to incorporate a lot of field trips with the week. Seeds and sprouts, like I kind of explained with the lesson plans, I want to go to either Huntington Beach Library and see the seed library that they have there, or go to like a nursery just to get out of the house and do something that's on theme. The following week, rainbows, there's not many things that you could do as a field trip to experience rainbows, so more of that's going to be a heavier week of activities and backyard hangs. If it rains, we'll look for one, that type of stuff. Week 3 is spring equinox. That's another one where it's not really like, you can't do much for a field trip. So I was planning on doing something more like a picnic in the backyard and having like a spring, hello spring party type thing. Snails and worms, again, that first month, really, I don't have a lot of activities. If it rains, we'll go outside and look for them. That's kind of, I think, what it recommends doing in the lesson plans as well. There's just not a lot of places that I could think of going to see stuff like that. Caterpillars, moths, and butterflies. If you are local to the SoCal area, the San Diego Zoo, the safari park specifically, is going to be hosting an event called Butterfly Jungle, I believe. The tickets don't go on sale until March 15th, so I'm waiting for that date to come, and then I'm going to see if I can use our funds to get tickets there. If not, then we have passes, so I might just buy the tickets ourselves. I think, as you could see kind of in the Pinterest board too, there wasn't a lot that I had for that week as well. I've kind of gone through the first few weeks and tried to specifically look for crafts and activities. Continue to do that as we go through the season a few weeks in advance to look for more things that match those themes. I haven't made it all the way to the end yet, so it'll be a growing list. If you're interested, I can make it a public list if you want to reference some of those as well. But I think that's it. I hope that this was encouraging. I hope that it was insightful. I hope that it was uplifting. The one thing that I want to leave you with is this. When I first got started homeschooling, I found one account, and I'm very grateful that she has become one of my best friends. And we've only met in person one time because we live on the opposite ends of the country, and I feel like that is so typical for me to meet the most amazing people that live nowhere near me. But I found her and I thought, this is it. I have found the most iconic, perfect homeschooling mom. And I'm so grateful that I was met with such a gracious, loving, kind person who poured back into me and told me, I don't have it all together. The aesthetics that you see is because I'm paid by brands to show this, but my house is messy, it is disorganized, my life and my brain kind of match what my home look like some days, and it's okay to do your own thing. It's okay to put your spin on it. Please don't feel like you have to duplicate, replicate, copy, mimic everything that I am doing. This is just what fits for our family. And as time has gone on, I've witnessed her go through things and realize the mistakes that she's made and correct them and pull back from the curated feed that she had simply because she realized that her kids were getting caught up in posing and everything. And so we've removed our kids from it. And it's just been such an incredible journey to walk alongside her as she's learned and poured into me and helped shape me into the homeschooling mom that I am today, on her own, with her own wisdom that she's poured out, as well as just me being able to watch and witness in close proximity, not physically, but through our conversations, of seeing everything that she is doing and learning from over the years with our kids growing as well. So with that, I want you to know and to see the transparent side that while I have all of this, and while I'm grateful for all of this, I'm grateful for the charter funds that we can buy extra things to support our homeschooling, while I'm grateful for the small businesses that have collaborated with me and gifted me a lot of the resources that we have, I know that take all of this away, I could still teach my kids. I could still pour into them. I could still give them amazing experiences. And I don't want you to feel like you have to have all of this stuff to do so. And I also don't want you to feel like it has to be prim and perfect, because I can promise you, when you see those aesthetic videos that I share on TikTok, while this space looks clean, that room over there is messy. The bedroom is covered in laundry that hasn't been touched. There are always going to be spots and spaces and places in my life, in my house, in my head that are going to be messy and jumbled and disorganized and chaotic. You are doing an amazing job as a homeschooling mom, as a homeschooling dad, as a parent, as a teacher. You are qualified for this. You are called for this. If this is the decision that you made to do this with your kids, you are the best person for the job. And the spin that you're going to put on whatever you physically bring to the table, or floor, or coffee space, or couch, or bed, wherever you choose to teach your littles, that is enough. Please don't get caught up in comparison. It was the biggest lesson that I'm very grateful that I learned very early on in homeschooling, because I think that had it taken any longer, it would have consumed me and I would have quit. I wouldn't be here doing any of this if I hadn't learned from such gracious and amazing people to not get caught up in all of that. So if you struggle with that, know that you're not alone, because it still hits me every once in a while, but it's a lot easier as the years have gone on to realize that doesn't need to define me. That doesn't need to have a voice in my head. You are doing an amazing job. Don't worry about the mess. Messes are going to happen. Messes show that they're learning, that they're engaging, and that they're enjoying what they're doing. So with all of that said, I don't want to go too long on a TED Talk. I just wanted to leave you with a little bit of that to remind you and encourage you that none of it has to look identical to anyone else that you see. Use it as inspiration that you're pulling to pour into your own style of how you homeschool. Don't use it to copy. You are your own unique, incredible person. You don't need to duplicate someone else to be special, important, or qualified for your kids to have an amazing homeschooling experience. They're doing that already, and they're loving everything that you bring to the table for them, because it's mom, it's dad, it's grandma, it's grandpa, it's whoever is watching this that is choosing to pour into them. That's all they need. And I can promise you that that's what they're grateful for. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them. Let's chit chat. I'm excited to go through this season with you guys and to watch what you're doing, what you bring to the table for your littles. Please send it my way so I can see the spins that you've put on anything that I've shared or others have shared. And yeah, I'm excited for spring, and I will check back in with you guys in the next video.